The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Welcome to Generations Radio, where the focus is on our seniors and their families. We are here each Saturday afternoon from 5 until 6 p.m., bringing you resourceful information with our radio team of professionals in the field of aging. Stay with us for the next 1 hour as we explore different ways to make life more exciting and meaningful for our extraordinary seniors. Right here on AM 690 The Answer. And now, here is our host and the publisher of Generations Magazine, Percy Ihara.
Welcome back to Generations Radio. I am Percy Ihara, your host. As you know, every Saturday and Sunday, well, not every Saturday and Sunday, we had prosecuting attorney Scott Spallina step in last month as I was traveling. I was busy. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. And thank you guys all who came to our 10th annual Aging in Place workshop. Huge success. I know a number of you came up to me and said, I listened to your radio show. And more people are going to our website, listen to our past shows. But thank you very much. We had over 1,500 people there. And those of you listening now, I'm glad to hear that I'm glad you're listening. But what I found out when we did some surveys of the Aging in Place workshop, that we found that a good, 50-60% of the people that were there were actually first-time attendees, which kind of struck me as like, wow, we've been doing this 10 years, and only now you come, or only now you need the services for your loved one or for yourself. But I'm glad you came anyway. A number of people there listen to the radio show. Go to our website, generations808.com. But also, we're looking for things for the information for the parents. So that was really interesting. Every year, like I said, it's our 10th year doing it. Every year, the crowd gets younger. But I still found a few people in their walkers, 7 years old, coming for information for the parents. I had a lady call me 7 o'clock that morning saying, I can only come for half an hour because I'm my husband's only caregiver and I can't be away from him more than half an hour. Quite sad, kind of stopped me in my tracks at 7 o'clock in the morning to think about really what we're doing. And so I'm really proud of the event. Thanks to Cynthia Arnold from Declutter Hawaii and Senior Move Manager, and Hope Young from Kukua Care. They really helped out a lot with our workshop, including Sherry Goya, who handles our distribution and sales at our Generations table, Wilson Angel, and Catherine Smith, who's our editor and art director, for flying over from Maui to help with our event. But so thank you all. Next year, 2017, it's going to be on Saturday, August 19th. So I've locked that date in already. Put it in your calendar. Put a note in maybe February, March to remember to save that date. August 19th, 2017 will be our 11th annual Aging in Place workshop. So anyway, today we're going to talk about gerontology. And the reason why is that I ran into this beautiful young lady, younger than me, of course. And I found out that she was studying gerontology, and then she finally got her certificate, and she's a certified gerontologist. And so I wanted to introduce everybody to Melissa Mansfield. Welcome to the show, Melissa.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and for the future.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So Melissa will be our co-host, and if I'm not here or can't make it, she'll probably step in, and hopefully she will. But you're academically, you're certified, and you've been in the industry for a while. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I currently was born in Houston, Texas, and I graduated from the University of Houston with a bachelor's in communication and a minor in Spanish.
Spanish?
Mm-hmm. I actually went to the University of Salamanca in España, and then also in Querétaro, Mexico, and then Monterrey, Mexico.
Wow.
So I was able
I did not know that.
Yeah. So I speak Spanish.
So you're totally fluent then?
Yes.
Okay, now I know who to call.
Yes, absolutely. So I moved to Hawaii in 2005 and actually started teaching Spanish at Kaimaki High School for their adult classes at night.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And during the day, I was a recruiter with Norwegian Cruise Line. So
with Norwegian Cruise Line.
Yep. So I would hire their wait staff, bar staff, and kitchen staff, because in my background I was a server, bar manager, basically in the restaurant business for 10 years. So service is in my blood.
I was in the restaurant business from 17 to 28 years old.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like me. Yep.
Good years because you can eat a lot at that age.
And it's good money.
Yeah.
And you're still young enough to stand on your feet and go, go, go.
So you're right, absolutely right. Because of that service background, like myself, in my job and what I do, our part of our business is to serve people.
Yes. Yeah. We want to make them smile.
So now you're with Altris, and you've been with Altris. So you went from the HR career to Altris.
So I started with Norwegian Cruise Line as a recruiter, and then from there I went to other agencies and still was in the recruiting background. I started with Altris 5 years ago. I was their client relations manager, and now just recently promoted to their care manager to help with their home care division.
When you say help, what do you mean? Are you a caregiver as well?
I'm the person that will go out and do the assessments on top of their orientations for our caregivers and the interviewer. So I kind of do the whole gamut, and I do payrolling, and I think in that industry you kind of have to wear a lot of hats.
But so people know Altris is not as a home care provider, right?
That's correct. And a lot of people come up and say, oh, I thought you just supply staff. And I said, well, we do both. We provide staff to clients in the hospitals, doctors' offices, clinics. We also do the flu clinics for the Department of Health. And
You do what?
The flu clinics
Flu clinic.
in all islands. So we go into the schools and do the
You provide
injections.
the staff to do that?
We provide the staff.
Oh, wow. So Altris, from a staffing, is that part of the company is called Simplicity right now?
That's the payrolling
Payroll.
benefits.
Okay. So Altris has staffing, and now what do they see the light, or how did that come about?
You know, when I first started with Altris, I was recently with another company that did home care. So when I started with Altris, I had inquired, why aren't you guys doing home care? And I think at that time, their market was hospitals. And they're great at it. So then I guess within the last 2 years, we had a meeting and we decided how can we serve the community better with what we do best. And my idea was to go into home care.
Oh, it was your idea.
I'm not trying to take credit, but it was because I had seen that's where the market is. There is a great demand for home care.
Yeah. Well, saying myself, I've been in the mortgage business since 1988. And about 2003, a friend of mine came up to me and said, I've been in mortgage business. He goes, you know what a reverse mortgage is, right? I said, kind of, but not really. He goes, well, this company's looking at coming to Hawaii, and it was the largest company at the time, Financial Freedom. And I did some research on the market potential, like in caregiving and home care. And I said, wow, it's touched only 0.1% of the marketplace. And the upside is huge. And, look now, 13, 14 years later, I'm still in the business, but I really need to understand aging. All right. So I took a deep dive and to learn about all the aspects of aging, and kind of like what you did.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. So I decided to go into gerontology because after that meeting, they asked me, what do you know about home care? And I honestly said, I don't know a lot. I just know how to staff, but I don't know the ins and outs. So within that 2-year period, I took the time to get my master's in gerontology online because, of course, I had to work full time. And
University of Hawaii, do they have a certificate or something on gerontology here at the University of Hawaii?
I do believe so, but unfortunately, since I wasn't able to go to brick and mortar, it all had to be online.
Yeah, well, that's where everything's going.
That's where everything's going. So that provided me with the opportunity to continue to work and then go home and to do my studies.
Wow. And how long was that program?
2 years.
So it's a 2-year certificate. But give us an idea, what does that entail? Because I know you gave me a printout of some of the topics. What are some of the topics they cover? Like 22, 24 topics?
Yes. It varied from an introduction to gerontology, health and nutrition, death and dying, long-term care. It talks about adult day services. It really does cover the whole gamut. And what I loved about this program is every single class, there was something that I can take away. Sometimes you go to a university and they put a lot of classes in there that's like, I don't really need it, but I have to take it. I don't learn a lot. But every single class, I absolutely took something from it. Even my ethics and aging class.
I've been telling people for years, that, like a good example, when we did today's kupuna on Olelo, I went back recently and we did 52 different topics just in the island of Oahu. of different things going on and different resources out there, different programs, events. And that was done in about a 2-year period. There's so many aspects of aging. But so gerontology really is now, what's the definition? Because I always get that mixed up with a geriatrician.
So geriatrician is the medical side, where the gerontologist is the process, studying the process of aging. It talks about how our body starts breaking down. There's a lot of theories, the wear and tear theory. It also covers the nutritional aspects of what seniors need, opposed to maybe what someone in their 40s or 30s might need. Also, things to start looking for, scarpania, when your skin starts hanging, how your muscle mass starts decreasing. It really does make you more aware of the aging process, and allowing you to kind of start doing something about it. You have to really start dieting, exercising. The water intake is huge. You'll notice that the older you get, the more salt you put in your diet, because the taste buds start decreasing.
Yes, your taste buds do decrease. And that's why seniors love chocolate.
Yes, and salt.
My mom took away the salt from my dad already. She can't really take any more salt. Seriously. I don't even think they have salt in the house anymore now to think about it. But yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for a while as well.
And there's a story I have to. So my grandmother would always make the dressing for Thanksgiving, and it was always great until one year my mom tasted it, and she's like, "Bob, why did you put so much salt in this?" And she goes, "What do you mean? It's fine." We ended up having to throw it away because it was way too salty. But she thought it was the way she did it.
Yeah, I think in my late 20s, our chef never liked us to put anything on top of food. In other words, ketchup or shoyu. He would look at me if I put on shoyu or ketchup or a nice Worcestershire sauce on my steak. Because our chef would cook us a really good dinner before we worked, and he would frown upon that. He goes, "Is my cooking not good enough?" So and just from that, I don't use rarely ketchup unless a nice French fry, but rarely, I would never put salt. Rarely put pepper on anything I eat. I eat it where it comes out. But you're right. I mean, so what made you decide to get into gerontology? Because what did I tell you earlier? Like, for every gerontologist, there's like 50 or 100 pediatricians graduating. Why gerontology?
My grandmother, she was a big influence in our life. When my mom worked, my grandmother would take care of us. And she was strict. She made us say, "Please, thank you, may I?" We pushed our chair in. We pushed our chair out for people.
Hey, grandma.
Yeah. So she made sure that we were going to be outstanding young ladies. She would take us to senior centers and do Christmas caroling.
Really? Well, you must be a good singer.
No, I'm really bad, but I loved
good
it.
Karaoke.
Yeah, I loved it, and and I loved that she wanted us to be engaged and be engaging, and have respect for not only seniors but everybody. So she, and she was an avid crocheter. She loved to cook. So I took some. I don't crochet, but I appreciate the art of it. And I love to cook nowadays. So there's a lot of things that influenced me in my life that I was able to take from her life.
And so as a newly graduate, so you're in the front lines, as I call it, like myself. We talk to seniors every day. But you're more on the staffing side, or you training side for Altris Medical?
So I'm on the staffing side. However, I do go to homes and talk with families and seniors about setting up services through Altris Home Care. But we also match the caregivers to the clients. So I do both sides. And then when I'm not working, I'm also a volunteer at Kalanui, which I absolutely love because that's my one-on-one senior time. We do bingo, chair exercises, and nothing more than going into a room and everybody's waving at you. I mean, I had one resident say, "Where have you been?" And I was gone for 2 weeks. So that really touched my heart, and I just knew.
2 weeks is a long time.
For them.
For them.
Yeah. And they told me, it's like, well, we're routine a habit. So, yeah. And I miss them. I mean, I honestly miss them. Yeah.
Well, then you got to start a karaoke class then.
I should. But I'm a bad singer. But I love to sing.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You're not a
Yeah.
professional. They'll
That's true.
forgive you. So because of your experience now and your training and your knowledge, home care services, you guys who do Ultra Medical does home care services. How do you choose a company or how do you choose a caregiver?
Well, because there's a lot of daughters that call us, and a lot of times they get
Daughters?
Really? Majority of daughters that
Never
will.
thought about that.
They're the majority of the ones that will
If they have
pick
a
up the
daughter.
slack. If they have a daughter, or sons, or you know what, I get a lot of I'm a neighbor or just a caring person. Like I
Really?
haven't heard from Mr. Smith, and I know that he needs services. Wow. So it's just a lot of people coming together, but majority are going to be daughters looking for their parents. Yeah.
And so what are some of, we've had people on before home care, but what's the key or what's the best way or what you guys do in terms of how to match caregivers with the patient or client?
You know, it's the art of listening. I think sometimes the art of communication is lost, but you also have to listen. When we go to a client's home, we sit down with the client for a minimum hour. We've been on one assessment that was 2 hours. At the end of the assessment, we were giving hugs. I was shown the garden, introduced the dog. You do become a part of their family. So you have
your whole life story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, isn't that great?
I love it. And that's what I love too, because if you can be quiet and listen to somebody else's life, it just opens up the world. It really does.
I'll tell you a quick story. I've been doing a reverse mortgage business for 13 years, almost going on 14 years. And one of my first clients I met many years ago, probably my first few months, beautiful house by Diamond Head and pretty wealthy. And I came into the house. It was a referral from a financial advisor. I believe she was 95, 98 years old. And I came into the house and she goes, "You drink champagne?" I said, "Sure, I love champagne." This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He goes, "Let's start off with a bottle."
Nice.
I'm going, wow. This lady is 95, 98 years old. Should you be drinking at that age? So she brings a bottle out. She had a caregiver, brings a bottle out and glass. And we spent an hour just talking about life. Mm-hmm. One of the most amazing ladies I've ever met. And I had my son a year. I think my wife was pregnant at the time. And I told her, if I have a girl, I want to name her after you. And I was serious. I had a boy, though. And her name was Patience.
Oh, nice.
What a cute name.
Yeah.
I mean, this lady just blew my socks off. And I communicated until she passed away, eventually at 104, I think. But just an amazing lady. And the story they would tell you, the wealth of knowledge was just incredible. And that's one of the reasons why I love my job, because we get to have stories told to us, and they're not lying, they're true stories. They tell you about their history, tell you about their family. They'll tell you stuff they won't tell their children. And it's just an amazing career that I think people, we talked about it earlier. That's a career I think more people should really look at, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. You know what I love about seniors? They allow us to slow down in our life. We are so busy. Go, go, go. We have to, everything we have to do before we go home and go to bed, or go home and start cooking dinner and, doing for our children or our significant other. But they are absolutely able to calm down in their life and just be in the moment. And I think that's what we can learn from too. Be in the moment.
Yeah. Also to prioritize things in life. I was just golfing with some buddies of mine. I was the youngest guy. They were all like late 60s and early 70s. And one of the guys goes, people arguing or complaining to you, and it just goes right over their head. Like, been there, done that. The experience they had in golf. It was just kind of funny that it just, who cares? Just go on with life,
And this too shall pass.
Yeah. And it's amazing.
But it will.
Yeah. But you mentioned something that is very true. You mentioned, how to match up caregivers with a client. And you said listening. But how do you tell a 20 or 30-year-old how to listen to the client or how to find out what's important to them?
We do a lot of coaching in our position because we do get a lot of young caregivers, and they like to be on their phone.
That's a big complaint. I would tell everybody right now, if you have a caregiver, make sure you take that phone away from them.
Yeah, it is huge. We've had a couple clients call us, and you know what? You just have to call the caregiver and just remind them that you're there for the client. We do have them keep their phone on them and on just in case of emergencies, but to not utilize it unless it's an emergency. But, it's important because so we go to the client's home and we listen to their needs. We go back to the office and we'll keep recruiting, interviewing, and you ask personal questions, or do you prefer to be with a senior that wants to tell you stories or that enjoys having animals? You really have to get into somebody's wants and desires because that's how you're going to match them. It's not always perfect. Sometimes it takes a couple tries. You ask any agency on this island or, worldwide. It's all about matching that person's not only communication style, but also their personalities. You have some people that don't want to talk. Just come in and do what you need to do and leave. And then you have somebody, hey, come here. I want to tell you my story. So it's not perfect all the time, but when it is, it's spectacular.
What about when you have, I'll say, Melissa, I want to be a caregiver. What would you ask me? Whether, like, let's say people come to you like, Melissa, I want to be a caregiver. What are some of the questions you would ask the potential caregiver what to expect in their job?
Well, first, when someone comes to me and is like, oh, I want to be a caregiver, I ask them, how'd you get into caregiving? So I want to hear what their story is. I want to make sure they're passionate about what they do. I don't want them to come in and think it's just a job. You're going to make money. It's just something.
Better than working at the fast food.
Yeah, no, I don't. I want someone to come in and really want to take care of their family members. Because we always say at Ultras, what if this person was taking care of your mother? And that's what we want. I don't want somebody to come in and ignore my mom, have her sit wet, or just not engaging with her, because that's why I hire someone to come in.
Right.
So that's what's important to us. And then on top of that, we just want to make sure that, what is your schedule like? We want to make, because everybody's flexible. There's a lot of people that have needs in the morning, evenings, nights, even overnight shifts. There's so many variables out there.
Do you have sleepover, people that sleep over?
We do have night rates, but not unless it's not that much care. Like maybe they need someone to help someone to like toileting, right? And that maybe could be a couple times a night. But we offer that service.
So you guys are just on Oahu, or you have neighbor islands as well?
Currently on Oahu for home care. The other services, the other staffing, we do on our outer islands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you do all of Oahu? Because some people say if it's not on the bus route, we're not going to go take care of you.
And we have that too.
Really?
Yeah. And we're
because they don't drive, right? Some of the
we don't
caregivers
require
drive.
them to drive, but we will match the caregiver. And that's another thing we ask, do you have your own transportation? Because transportation is huge with seniors.
Oh, yeah.
It's huge, and it's a market that is very depleted. So a lot of our clients will ask, can your caregivers drive my, mom to the doctors or to the grocery store, or just go out, go to Starbucks, maybe go to the beach, just go. And so it's not a requirement, but we do try to match them if it's possible.
So that's part of the service that you guys provide as well?
So if the caregiver can drive, then yes. But we don't have just a service dedicated to transportation.
Right. Well, nobody does except for Catholic Charities and the handy van, the city and county handy van. Oh, it's
and some take Uber.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, with the new law coming about, we'll see about that. Them and Lyft.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame either side for what they're pushing for, but then that's a whole nother show. But so we got a couple more minutes before we take a break.
Okay.
Where do you want to? I asked you this earlier. Where do you want to go in this career?
I want seniors to have those resources in their hands. So I would really love to push, number one, for caregivers. We need more caregivers in this field. So I want to push for more education, give incentives for people that have the passion to go and get a master's in gerontology or a certification in gerontology, or even geriatrics, because we have, 25 geriatricians just on Oahu. So very limited. We need to give incentives for education. So
what about gerontologists? You said there was a limited.
Very limited. 10. Yeah, very limited. Yeah.
But so I know we talked about the workforce issue, but what do you think is the biggest issue? Do you think the lack of caregivers is the biggest issue?
Absolutely.
Yeah? We
will not have enough people to care for myself, for you. We're having a problem right now.
Yeah.
We are having a big caregiver shortage. I mean, I have had some people call me and said, I call this, I called this home care company and they weren't able to provide caregivers. Do you have caregivers? That's the first thing they say to me. Not,
Really?
my name is so-and-so, I'm looking for services.
Wow.
Do you have caregivers?
Yeah.
So it's a huge problem.
Yeah, almost every company that I know, and especially in the Generations magazine, they always, it's the number one issue. So sometime down the year, later this year in 2016, hopefully Melissa will be helping us put together a job fair for caregivers or potential people that want to get into the caregiving field.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll have it sometime November, maybe early December, hopefully by then. Or if you're interested in that field, or if you have a niece or relative that are interested in that field, or if you want to learn how to be a caregiver, there is a lot of jobs out there, I think.
And also, the truth be told, everybody is a potential caregiver. Every single person.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to take a short break. We're here with Melissa Mansfield, the newly crowned or new certified gerontologist with Ultras Medical. I am Percy Ihara, your host, here every Saturday from 5 to 6, Sunday from 3 to 4. And don't forget, go to our Generations 808 website for more information. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
We will be right back with Percy Ihara from Generations Radio. If you have any questions or want to be part of our discussion, give us a call at 296-5467. That's 296-5467. This is Generations Radio on AM 690 The Answer.
Did you know 26 million Americans have kidney disease and most don't know it?
The day I was diagnosed, I didn't know what to do. I called the National Kidney Foundation, and the young lady who answered stayed on the phone with me and walked me through step by step. She too was surviving kidney disease, and she showed me there could be life after kidney disease.
Visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org. Now you know.
Moon Physical Therapy is here to help you back to recovery. Moon Physical Therapy is located on Ward Avenue across from Sports Authority. Physician prescribed for motor vehicle accidents, workman's comp, or that body pain that comes from rushing to play without warming up. Also event cardiopulmonary rehabilitation with our one-on-one patient care. Moon's Aquatherapy heated endless pool allows for low-impact exercise with less pain on land. We will give you the right exercises to get you back to health. Ask your doctor to prescribe Moon Physical Therapy. Moon Physical Therapy. We achieve results.
Aloha, this is Martha Clopin.
And Al Harrington. Choosing the right Medicare plan not only saves you money, it also helps you avoid headaches and heartaches down the road.
We want to remind everyone
to listen to a Medicare Moment with Martha, Sundays from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. as we help answer important questions on Medicare so you can stay healthy, wealthy, and wise all year long.
Call me at 543-2073, 543-2073.
I was an addict from the age of 13. I finally decided it was time for a change. I walked into the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center, and that got me ready for the real world. Now, I choose to be guided by Jesus Christ, and today, I'm building a powerful and promising future, free from drugs and alcohol.
Please shop at the Salvation Army family stores. With our discounted sales, your support through your purchase helps men live a clean, sober, and productive life.
Got Vegas on your mind? Get Vacations Hawaii on the line. Vacations Hawaii offers weekly 4 and 5 night Honolulu to Vegas packages, which include 3 meals daily from $6.99. Stay at Hawaii's favorite casinos: California, Fremont, Main Street Station, and Orleans Hotel. Vacations Hawaii will get you there in comfort on deluxe wide-body 767 planes with complimentary in-flight hot meal service. Vacations Hawaii's frequent flyer program gives you future travel discounts and credits. So if you're ready to win big, call Vacations Hawaii at 591-4777 or visit pointVacationsHawaii.com.
Today, more than ever, we local people are living longer than any other state in the Union, with more seniors, baby boomers, and caregivers. Generations Radio promotes the importance to be proactive as we all age. The radio team will focus on issues facing our seniors and their families, finding resources to navigate healthy aging along with financial, legal, and caregiving information. So join Percy Ihara from 5 until 6 each Saturday, right here on AM 690 The Answer. focusing on the issues facing our seniors and their families today. Here's our Generations Radio host, Percy Ihara.
Welcome back to Generations Radio. I am Percy here with our new co-host, Miss Melissa Mansfield, recently certified gerontologist. But I did want, before I forget, we have events coming up. The Senior Fair is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's at the 23rd, 24th, 25th at the Blaisdell. About 23,000 of you will be going through the Blaisdell, viewing over 350 exhibit booths. I will be there. The Generations magazine will be there. But check it out. It's free. You just have to pay for parking or take the bus or have somebody drop you off, which is probably the best way to go. It's 8:30 to 4:30. And thanks to Mike Roselle, the producer of the event for the last 32 years. I have been chosen. I'm the youngest ambassador to the Senior Fair at 56 years old. So I'll be the ambassador. I'll be opening doors Friday morning. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be selecting a time to talk to you on the big stage about aging. And, you know, with the magazine, we always want to be proactive. So we're going to bring on some of our writers for the magazine, experts in their field of aging, to talk about what you can do to stay healthy, what you can do to prevent elder abuse, what you can do to finance long-term care, and all of the above topics that's really important. Thanks again to all of you that came to our Aging in Place workshop on August 20th last month. It was a great success. It was a crazy day. We had people running all over the place looking for the different rooms and different speakers. And thanks to our speakers like Dr. Shantani. Thanks to Jackie from AARP. Thanks to Diane Cadena and Julie Moon, who's writers in our magazine with personal training and physical fitness. Michael Yee, the financial advisor. Mr. Stephen Yim. Stan Michaels, the fall prevention guy from the State Department of Health. Who else did we have? We had my brother Danny Ihara talking about senior living options. Cynthia Arnold about decluttering. Hope Young from Kukua Care on the different home care options. Then we had, who else we have? Let's go through my list mentally.
Did you mention Martha?
Martha Clopin, Medicare lady. We had Jane Briggsay from Social Security. We had Cassandra Stewart from Cardin Outreach that does the Medicaid for long-term care. And then we had, who else do we have? I'm trying to figure out the rooms. We had Alzheimer's Pamela Ani. So thank you all. And like I said, 2017 is August 19th for our 11th annual Aging in Place workshop. And as you guys know, the August-September issue is out and about. It is running out fast. I'm telling you right now. If you want to get a copy featuring the beautiful floor of the California Hotel, grab one quick. It is running out quick. In fact, I've got to pick up a couple boxes today because we're running out at different locations. So, but luckily for you, you can go to our website, generations808.com, to pick up a copy, or look on the distribution tab on the top right for different locations. But all your doctor offices get them, all the YMCAs, all the libraries statewide. That's probably the easiest place to find it. If they ran out already, ask the librarian, can you get some more? If not, we have selected Times, Longs, and Safeways on the island. If you're from the Big Island, KTA has them all. On Maui and Kauai, we have them at the Office on Aging. Maui specifically, there's a bunch of senior centers out there like Kaunoa Center, we'll have them. So check those out, but I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to run out this issue. And I just want a little plug for the October-November issue. It's going to be featuring veterans. 4 veterans from the past wars, and it's going to be a beautiful array of different experiences from being a veteran and being in war. But we wanted to honor them as well. So wait for that. It's coming out in early first week of October. So anyway, we have been delinquent in putting all that last 3 months of radio shows on our website. So hopefully we'll get that done in about a month or two. We've just changed over our website server. We changed over our platform. It's a little cleaner, easier look. It's easier to find stories on our website. So check that out. And don't forget, every Saturday morning, about 7:45 on KITV, the only morning news segment on the weekends, we do an Aging Well segment. So every Saturday you'll see a different topic on aging well, and our great little young lady Moani Nabarro is the host of the show. So check her out. every Saturday morning about 7:45. So, as I mentioned, our guest today is Melissa Mansfield from Altruist Medical, newly certified gerontologist. And you're young, Melissa, so you're going to be around a long time.
Long time. I loved it when I first, we talked and had coffee the other day. You're like, well, you're in your 30s. And I'm like, oh, I love you. I'm like, I'm 42.
You look
like,
young.
Yeah.
You have no wrinkles. You're still slender.
Diet and exercise.
That's really important, yeah.
Yes.
So you've been certified since June. I know, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on as a coach, so you can really learn all the different aspects of aging, because there's so many different topics, so many programs and services out there that are great, but where do you find them? That's what we do in the magazine. So I'm glad you're here. So we talked about caregiving. What would be the 5 tips that you could ask families when the families call a company like Altruist or any other company? What should a family member ask? Whether it's you said it's like usually the daughter will ask. What should they ask the company?
You should probably establish some credibility. It's important to know that the company has been around for at least a couple years minimum. Altruist has been around since 1969. Started off in doing industrial, then they moved into clerical and medical, and then IT. So and then home care now. So establish some credibility. Don't be afraid to ask the important questions as well. How many caregivers do you have on staff? What is your protocol for emergencies? Do you have a backup plan?
That's important.
It's very important.
Emergencies will eventually happen in a matter of time.
Because we're people. We get sick. Our children get sick. Pets get sick. Houses catch on fire. I know it sounds absurd, but it does. It happens. People get in car accidents, and and sometimes, unfortunately, people just don't feel like going into work.
Yeah.
Whether they get in a fight with a family member or just not feeling like it. So, ask them, what is your backup plan? How do you staff? Do you have a 24-hour service? Am I able to get somebody live if I call them? If not, why? There's a lot of things. How active or how engaged is your care manager? Do they have a certification? Things like that. Really get to know that agency, because you are going to be dealing with them a lot.
Yeah.
So you really need to understand what their protocols are, and how do they recruit for their caregivers? How experienced are their caregivers? What kind of orientation do they go through?
Yeah, very important, because you're entrusting somebody that you don't know to take care of your loved one for 6 to 8 to 12 hours a day.
And to come into your house.
Yeah, and nobody's going to be there but your caregiver and your loved one.
Exactly.
Isn't that kind of a scary thing, though? I worry about
You know why? Because it's giving up control. That's what's scary. But when your family member needs help and you are not able to take off of work because you can't, you have to pay the mortgage or the rent and the car and the lights and everything else that comes along with life, you have to give up control and entrust that somebody is going to be there for your loved one, because that loved one took care of you. So now it's your job to find the right person to come into the home when nobody's there and they're all by themselves. So it's giving up control.
And are most or all the home care providers, do they require their, what do they call, certified nurses aides? Do they have to be trained?
It depends on the care. It depends on the agency. I know for Altruist, in order to be a home health aide, you have to have at least a minimum of 6 months experience in a facility.
You have to have it before they can work for Altruist?
Yes, for the home health aide.
Okay.
They have to at least go through an education course with hands-on, as well as maybe a CNA class. Worked in a long-term care facility, assisted living, some type of interaction with toileting and bathing. It can't just be family members. They have to really have that facility work.
Really? Do they have to be, do you guys do background check, things like that?
We do drug testing, background checks. We do reference checking. We actually call their references. And if we're not able to get in touch with references and verify their work, we don't use them.
Wow.
So it's very important.
Well, you guys are strict.
We are strict. Like you said, we want someone to come into our home that we trust. So we always think of it, would we want this person in our home? So if the answer, if that's your gut feeling, no, I probably wouldn't want this person taking care of my mom or even me, then we won't hire them.
But you've interviewed many people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would think the younger kids today, why do they choose being a caregiver? I mean, they could work at McDonald's or any Wendy's and make almost 10, 12. Well, maybe they don't make. I don't think restaurants pay that much, huh? You probably only pay like $8.50 or $9.
I think it's minimum wage now,
Yeah,
so it's
wage,
very
right?
north. Yeah.
So and actually, being a home health aide gets paid more.
Yes, absolutely. And we understand that in order to get the quality, we have to pay more. Mm-hmm. And we might not be the cheapest agency out there, and we don't want to be, but we are a higher level of care. And that's our slogan, because it's true. We want to be able to provide that care, and we have to do our due diligence and qualify that caregiver.
They all have to have, I'm going to assume they all have to have CPR training.
And they have to have their CPR card. Usually it's American Heart Association that we take. There have been a couple of other companies we accept, but they have to have their CPR, their two-step TB, as well as, so it's their BLS, CPR, two-step TB. We do their background, reference, drug testing. We also do our own in-house physical capacity test with our risk department to make sure that they are physically capable of pushing and pulling a certain amount of weight.
Oh, yeah.
So, they don't just come in and they're hired. There's a process. It usually could take up to 2 weeks to qualify somebody.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And where do you, like I said, hopefully we can get together and get some other companies together, do a job fair later this year. But the shortage is just a scary thought, isn't it? Shortage of workers.
Yes, absolutely.
And how do you get them involved in this field?
A lot of the times, when I do have someone come in and we do the initial interview, my first question is, so how did you get into caregiving and what's your passion about it? I try to really kind of understand why, because it takes a certain person to want to help shower, toilet, mobilize, and just spend companion one-on-one time. And a lot of times it's the family members. They've had an auntie, they've had a grandmother, they've had an uncle, they've had somebody in their life that has touched them. Or my mom's an RN, and I love to see what she does, and I want to just see if I want to be an RN. So it's that initial, maybe this is my career, but let's see, before I really start investing in a BSN or, even a medical assistant certificate.
When you mentioned bathing and toileting and things like that and feeding, but some people don't need that.
That's correct.
So do you have a lower level of expertise of a home health aide, or they all have to be able to do that? And do you pay less for somebody that doesn't need that service?
So we have two types of caregivers. One's a personal care assistant that's more of a companion. They do meal preparation, light housekeeping. They can assist to doctor's appointments. And then the home health aide will be the hands-on, helping with the bathing and toileting, all the ADLs, activities of daily living, in addition to what a personal care assistant can do. So as the level of care decreases or increases, the bill rate will also do the same.
Can I ask you what the bill rate would be, or just a
No.
ballpark? Just a range.
Right now, we have an introductory special. So it can range from $19 an hour to $25 an hour.
That's about average.
So what I like that we do is it's never a set price. So our care managers, myself and Christina Wong, we will go into the home, we'll assess, making the care plan out, and then present them with a bill rate. Now, every couple of months, and it kind of varies at 1 month, 2 months, and then 6 months, and then so forth. We also tell our caregivers to communicate with us. You see if someone is decreasing or declining and improving as well. Maybe someone's doing physical therapy and they don't really need that hands-on experience. So we will adjust the bill rate accordingly. So we want to reward people for getting better as well. But we also want to pay our caregivers if the client starts to decrease, because there might be a little more hands-on care. So we try to be fair in that aspect. Yeah,
it's so important. But the future of caregiving and future of aging in Hawaii, we have Dr. Cullen Hayashida to come on next week, but and I've been doing this for a long time, and there's a great video I always tell people go watch. It's online. Just go Google the graying of Hawaii, the color graying, the graying of Hawaii, and you can watch the whole video. It's on 2 parts. And it talks about aging and the issues of lack of resources, lack of facilities, lack of caregivers. And when I've shown this video many times out there, I see the video, we talk about all these issues, and it seems like it's today. It's very true, it's happening today. But that video, that documentary was made nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah. And when you brought that video to my attention, and I watched it, both parts, I sat down, and it was so intriguing. And it's scary, too. It is absolutely frightening that that's 10 years ago, and nothing has been done to fix it. Nothing. And I'm afraid, will anything be done? It will take the whole island, the whole state of Hawaii, to rally up and say something has to be done, because it's not only the problem of today, it's the problem of the future. Yeah. It's going to be my problem and my generation younger than me's problem if we don't do something.
Yeah. Well, we got to worry about our parents first.
Yes,
like my parents are in the 80s, and it is something that we got to be concerned about, because I get a call every week, 2 or 3 times a week, from somebody that I know, or somebody knows somebody I know, and ask about their parents.
Yep.
I said, the reason why you're calling me is because your parents did not have a plan. You know?
But what's even more frightening is if we have this shortage today, by 2020, 1 in 4 will be over the age of 65. We're not providing that many caregivers today, so do you think all of a sudden we're just going to provide them in the future? We really need to come together.
Well, I just heard an interesting statistic for you guys out there. Every month in the state of Hawaii, 500 people turn 65. Every month. And those guys have to apply for Medicare. If you don't apply for Medicare, there's actually a small penalty that if you don't apply for 10 years, that penalty adds up those 10 years, and that penalty will be a little bit bigger. And it's based off your income. I did not know that. Talking to our Medicare expert, Martha Clopin, the more money you make, the bigger the penalty can be. So it's right now, an average person might pay $110 a year. But if you made like $300,000 or $400,000 a year, that penalty could be that a month.
Yeah.
Just because you didn't sign up for Medicare.
Yeah.
So that's how important it is. But no, you're absolutely right. I think we need to start looking at these issues, and I'm glad you're a big advocate, and you're on my side, but we need to do more. But we need to find ways. So what are some of the things that you've seen that some of the things that we need to be, like I said, we want to be productive. We want to provide resources. We want to have an action plan. What are some of the things that you see that you would like to see, or what things that you're passionate that you want to do?
I would love, education is I was a Spanish teacher, so I love to teach. So I would love to, I see myself in the future either teaching at a college level, or also providing.
You got to fill your classes, though.
I do, and I will.
You got to make sure somebody attends.
Yeah. And also, I love advocating for families. I think my biggest joy is when I get a phone call and I have this frantic daughter or loved one on the phone, and they said, my loved one is just getting discharged. I have no idea what to do. Do I need a hospital bed? What do I do with the medications? They're just frantic. So providing them, number one, listening to them, and then empathizing with them, because they don't know what to do, and they're stressed. So, I always have them go to the Elderly Affairs Division website, which really amazes me that nobody knows about that resource. They're like, oh, I never heard of that. And I was like, even the outer, I'm like, you got to look at it. It's the best resource out there.
You mean the ADRC?
Right, besides Generations Magazine, yes.
ADRC.org.
Yeah. So, I'm always shocked when they don't really they don't know about it. So I put that in their hands, and then learning, about a little more about what their needs are. Maybe if they have a hospital bed, I can recommend a couple companies that they need to call. If they're worried about,
but Medicare covers the hospital bed, right?
But they still need to order it.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
And and they still need to get delivered, and and then I didn't know that you have to get certain sheets for hospital beds, and
the different size.
It's a whole gamut of things. Yeah, so families, why would they know that? They don't have.
And how to utilize the medical bed, because I went to a family, they didn't know that there's rails on the side of the bed. They never used it. I was, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
I go, your loved one fell out of the bed, remember?
Yeah.
Because they didn't know they had handrails on the side.
I just finished a orientation training class because I'm going to start volunteering for Hospice Hawaii. Very extensive. They do like a 3-day class, one full 8 hours, the other ones are 4. And they really go through, this is how the hospital bed works. This is how you do the bed, the rails on the side. It's important to lift the patient's head when you're doing, certain things that you would never know. You just, as a caregiver, maybe a family member, it's trial and error because you've never taken classes.
Right. Well, they've never seen a medical bed.
And they've never seen a medical bed.
If you're
except
healthy,
on TV.
yeah, if you're healthy, you wouldn't know. I wouldn't know how to use a medical bed.
Absolutely, yeah.
But so, I mean, when being an advocate, being let's say educating the public, I've been doing that for 13, 14 years, and I still struggle with getting people to understand and make a decision to be proactive and do your own research. Because I think down the road, you're going to call somebody and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, Percy, but we're all full already. We don't have any more caregivers." Then they're going to call the next company, same thing.
That's happening now.
Yeah. So I've been telling families that you have to take care of yourself, to make sure your mom and dad drinks water, exercises, eats healthy. You communicate, you make sure that they're social beings as well. Don't just let them stay home all day long.
Right.
And one of the best things to do is take them to an adult day center.
Absolutely.
Michael Yee, our financial advisor, who's been on the show many times, has told me, his mother-in-law, his family member, did not want to go to an adult day center.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes, "Percy, somebody has to watch her during the daytime. We can't do it." And she didn't want to go. I said, "Let's let them see. Hold her hand, walk her into the facility." 6 months later, she can't wait to go to the adult day center. She gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning, saying, "Let's go."
Yeah.
"I want to go already." "Well, it's not open yet, and I got to cook breakfast first." But those kind of stories just ramify, make people realize that, those are all so many different aspects of aging that we need to learn about.
And you have to think of it this way. We get up, we go to work, we're constantly engaged. Our mind cognitively is going. By the time we get home, we're exhausted. We're tired. Well, when you have someone that's not working and they're not being stimulated, then they sleep during the day and they're up at night. And that's disruptive for the whole family. So that's what's wonderful about adult day services. They keep them engaged. They get to talk story. They're watching their Korean soap operas. It's a constant. So by the time they get home, they can't wait to go to bed.
And they have excursions.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. They're so tired. And they eat healthier probably.
Absolutely.
Because all the facilities, all the adult day centers have to have their food is monitored and they have to be healthy. Mm-hmm. They have to cover all the nutrition bases of it. So it's really great. So I'm glad to see that.
Yeah. And they're having their meals. They're having snacks as well as meals. Because a lot of times if they're at home, they're not eating properly. They might have a couple bites and I'm full. I don't really want to eat it. Or sometimes if they have dementia, Alzheimer's, they don't. They already think they've eaten. Mm-hmm. So when you have those adult day services, it's a tremendous attribute not only for the family but also for the loved one.
So we got about one more minute left. What are some of the topics you want to see or you think that's important for our listeners out there and for the family members? What are some of the topics that you think they need to hear about and what we're going to provide?
I think we need to learn more about long-term care services because it's very important. In addition to nutrition and exercise, healthy living is important, especially for every generation. Just because you're 80, 90 years old, you think, "Oh, it's past my prime." Absolutely not. Yeah. We still have to get up and walk. If you have a purpose, you're still living. Yeah. So I think nutrition, exercise, social communication, how can we get the word out? And also don't be afraid to talk about getting older because it's all going to happen. Don't close your eyes and think, it ain't going to happen to me. You know what? We all are going to get to an age that we need someone to help us and to support us.
Yep. And ask for help.
Don't be this person who's like, well, I'll just, I'll have a neighbor do it. Or we're there to help you. We're there as an advocate for you. We're there to support you and your family, so utilize us. That's what we're in business for.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Melissa Mansfield, thank you very much. We're going to see you for the weeks to come, our new co-host here on Generations Radio. And you're going to be able to teach me some things, and I'll be able to teach you some things. We're going to get more guests on here. So thank you very much for your passion and your work in the community here. Melissa from Altruist Medical. So anyway, I'm Percy Ihara, your host. Don't forget, Senior Fair, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, September 23rd, 24th, 25th. And, of course, next month, August 29th,
Yes.
He's a senior.
Altress, October 29th, Altress will be hosting their second annual Aging in Place Senior Fair at Kahala Mall from 10 to 2. So come and join us.
Thank you very much. Everybody, aloha and live well.